Welcome to our class tonight. Allow yourself to breathing, focus on breathing. We're just going to continue to breathe into your canal. Hold the breath for 4. Breathe out for 4. And holding the breath out. Is it hard to hear me, or is the music too soft, too loud? Let me know in the chat. I can make it loud. That I haven't trouble with the sounds. I'm quite sure you hearing me. Hopefully everyone else can hear me. When you join, you do need to join audio when you come. Very good. Just continuing to focus on the breath. Now we're just going to breathe down deep into the body. Take deep, beautiful energy in the body. Just allowing your breath and your energy to go down deep, deep into the earth. Really breathing down deep into the earth, connecting into the earth. Imagine you can breathe up. Breathe up to the earth. And just breathing all the way up through the body. That golden energy. And just breathing that up through the body, all the way up through the body, out through the top of the head. Sending that beautiful golden energy up, all the way up through the body and the energy field, out through the top of the head, sending it all the way up to the highest point in the universe. And then sending that beautiful golden energy all the way up, out through the top of the head. And imagine that you can send that beautiful energy all the way up to the highest point in the universe, up past the stars, up past the universes, all the way up into source energy, creator force energy. And just really feeling ourselves connecting with that creator source, bright white, pearlescent white energy, resting there for a moment. And then breathing in from that highest point in the universe. And breathing it all the way down into the body. And letting it rest inside the solar plexus area, joined with the golden energy from the earth. And then breathing that out the front and back of the solar plexus to make a shield out in front, behind, above, and below. We'll just set the space as across time and space. We call on our guides, teachers, masters, those who are working for the light only, who hold unconditional love and the highest vibration of energy. We call on Sri Shakti Narayani Amma, Om Namo Narayani. And we call on all the great ones. We call on the energies of earth, air, fire, water, and ether. We call on the land spirits and pay our respects to the traditional owners of the land that each of us is on. And we come in peace, we come in peace, we come in peace. We ask to be a pure channel for divine light, love, sound, healing and transformation, oneness and unity, surrendered selfless service and complete harmlessness. We ask to be divinely guided and protected, to have clear insight, accurate perception, and correct expression. And we ask for the highest and most helpful time tonight in meditation, the highest, most appropriate and relevant channeled message. And we offer this time and space at the lotus feet of the divine. Through divine grace, so be it. We'll just do a little bit of clearing. And if anyone has any questions, usually what I do then is I'll tune in and see what sort of message might be coming through tonight. And if you have any particular questions that you'd like the higher beings to answer, the ascended masters, those who are of the highest frequencies, are those who we ask to send us messages, then you can put them into the chat. And also, if there's a question that comes up during the channeling and you want to ask a question, there's often a point where we just pause and ask for questions, and you can unmute and ask the question out loud. But if there's any themes or anything that you are curious about, anything that you want help with, then that is all good, and you can share that. Otherwise, we will always just see what is the relevant message for tonight, and it's often a mystery because it comes from the mysterious higher parts of ourselves. Of course, we're all connected to all of the universal forces, and then those frequencies come forth and speak to us. So right now, thinking about the frequency that comes as a cleansing energy from Saint Germain and a violet flame, just using your imagination and your intention to call forth that cleansing energy. It's very good for purifying through our energy field, letting go of anything that we don't need. So just breathing in and breathing out all over. And just breathing that out through the back of the body, letting go of the day, letting go of anything that's happened. And just focusing on that violet flame of Saint Germain to help cleanse, purify, transmute any energy that you don't need, anything that's around you. And just continuing to breathe that in and letting go. And I was reminded today of the way that our thoughts are so impactful in how we create our reality. And so if there's any thoughts that have been bothering you, just letting that violet flame go through the mind. It's really important to cultivate a practice and a habit and it's almost like a discipline of bringing forth gratitude and positive thinking in the mind. Otherwise, we reinforce neural pathways and habits and beliefs that are of a lower frequency, and they're usually not much fun. So letting yourself release any negative thinking. Imagine the violet flame can go through the mind and just zapping off any loops of negative thinking that you don't need. And then we can replace that with positive, uplifting thoughts. And gratitude is always the go-to practice for creating positive vibrations and higher vibrations within our system, which, as I think many know, that it's that vibrational reality that creates our thoughts, the events all around us. It impacts our physical health, our mental health, our emotional. Of course, it's very connected to our emotions. So just breathing that violet flame in through the mind, out the back of the head, just imagining it can let go of any thought loops, any habits of thinking. And if you would like to, there's a very good habit that you can start to create of every morning some movement when you get up, a little bit of movement of some sort, and then really practicing at least 5 minutes without stopping of gratitude. Just repeating, you can have a list which you read out and just repeating all the things that you're grateful for. It changes your frequency. And so right now in this moment, you can rest inside your heart. It creates a stronger heart coherence and frequency if you're resting in your heart. So just resting in the heart, and then start to repeat. You can either do it out loud or you can do it silently. A whole lot of things that you're grateful for, as many as you can think of. It can be small things, large things. You may start to feel that energy within the heart. Usually there's a sense of relaxation and expansion. You can breathe out the back of the heart, letting go. And as you just continue that, breathing down through the body and into the earth as well. Just letting the energy ground down through the earth, connect with the earth, through the feet, down through the legs, out through the feet and deep into the earth. And then just bring yourself back to the heart and continuing that gratitude. You can also be aware of the breathing in and out. If you're aware of any tension or discomfort anywhere in the body, just letting the breath go through there, calling again on Saint Germain with the violet flame just to cleanse through anywhere through the body that you need to let go. And as you're just doing that, focusing, I'm going to tune in and see if there's a message for us tonight. As I said earlier, if you have any particular questions, you can put them in the chat. And at this stage, I'll just ask for what is the most relevant message for us tonight? What is going to be the highest, best information, advice, or frequency that will benefit all of us? We are the angelic guardians of the frequencies, and we are pleased to be here tonight to share with you the pathways and the practices that will assist you to continue to have your human life in the best possible place with the highest frequency, as there are simple practices, and yet we are aware that many, many people become extremely busy in their lives and do not allow themselves to receive the benefits that come when the frequency and the vibration of the energy field is raised to its highest frequency. And this would, of course, become eventually the frequency of joy, enlightenment, and oneness with all that there is. And truly the only thing that stands in the way of everyone, including those here, becoming even more and more connected to the vibrations of joy and bliss is simply the habits that have been conditioned into humans and into society on earth. And there is so much help for all those who wish to change this situation and wish to raise their frequency. And so we would encourage you to make a commitment to yourselves, should you wish to do so, and to use some time each day to practice the time in gratitude, which brings forth a very big coherence and resonance inside your heart. And this heart energy is truly something that flows throughout the physical body. It assists with physical healing even, and it helps to calm and focus the mind on the positive attributes of your life, as unfortunately the way the human condition has been set up through much long history, the predominant way of thinking and being, and because of the frequencies that are still on the earth, the predominant way is to think about what is missing and notice what is not here. And yet everything that you desire is only a series of positive thoughts away. And it sounds almost like this may be too good to be true. And yet the truth is that if you attune to the frequencies of the higher dimensions, you truly will become one with those higher frequencies. And you may be aware already that the frequencies are very connected to your emotions. Your emotions, your thoughts are connected. And then those thoughts that you repeat in your mind become beliefs, and they strengthen inside your mind and your brain, and the neural pathways continue to activate and strengthen and become like a big highway on one of your roads. And the positive thoughts and beliefs can become like the small little side streets, and you want the situation and your frequency to be the other way around, that it is the highway of positiveness is what will transform your life and transform the physical reality that you live in. It is true that as you desire something, it is easy to notice that it is missing. And yet all this will do is to reinforce the frequency of lack, so that you notice something is missing, you think about it being missing, and it continues to be missing. Whereas in fact, you need to almost, we would say, pretend, delude, imagine, use all of your powers to see yourself in the happiness and the vibration of that which will bring you joy. And that may be something quite simple as having plenty of time to move around and be in nature, and seeing yourself in nature, remembering times in nature, and feeling the happiness in the heart that this would bring you, are all practices that are really quite simple. However, it is also important to remove the old and negative beliefs that you may have been thinking. And so it can be a useful practice to take one or two of those beliefs and work on a positive opposite that you repeat, and you repeat the positive opposite, so that this positive replaces the old belief that has been perhaps a habit inside the mind. And all of this helps you to uplift the frequency so that your time here on earth becomes the happiest and most blissful and most positive. And it is from this state that you start to remember your soul's gifts and your offerings and the way that you may wish to help others upon the earth. And it can be difficult to help others if you do not feel the enthusiasm for the actions that you wish to take. However, we would say to you, beloved ones, that it is difficult to feel enthusiasm if the negative thinking is causing the resting vibration of the human energy field and body to be perhaps in a state of frustration or even blame, shame, or guilt, or any of the lower frequencies. This is then quite difficult. And from that lower place, not much action will happen. And when there is no action, there is no momentum for the progress that you wish to make, either on your spiritual path or on your way of helping the world. And in particular, if you are wishing to start something new in your life, such as a project or a business, or even taking a different pathway in your life, a new situation, a new relationship, a new job, a different financial outcome, anything at all that you wish to create in your life, this needs to be done from the place of the highest frequency. And this can be done as a gradual process. You imagine yourself walking up a ladder, and as you do, raising the vibration and frequency of your energy field. Imagine one step on the ladder, you move from a feeling perhaps of blame to a feeling of frustration is slightly higher, and then another step up and you start to feel acceptance and neutrality, and another step up and you feel some positive moving forward, some gratitude. And as you continue to move up, you start to feel some happiness, some forgiveness takes place as you realize and appreciate and accept all that has happened in your life. For truly anything that has happened has brought forth a lesson. However, if you are unsure about the lesson, then you may be in a place of feeling as if you are a victim to what life has given you. And yet, once you take in and absorb the lesson, then you start to move to a place of acceptance and gratitude. And once you can reach gratitude for all that has happened in your life, every single person, place, time, and event, when you feel gratitude for that, you will have learned the lesson. And as you learn the lesson, you will feel the gratitude. So this becomes a self-perpetuating philosophy or a cycle in a positive way. So unlike some cycles which are lower frequency, this would be a cycle of gratitude and appreciation. And we would encourage you to take some time to perhaps make a little schedule for your day where you can wake in the morning and after moving the body, perhaps doing some breathing or some pranayama or some square breath to calm the nervous system, you can call on Saint Germain, who is close to all of us, and clear your energy field. And then with some movement or activity to have these cells activated, you can start with a gratitude practice and allow that to go on and on until you feel your whole energy field is becoming more and more positive. And with this one practice alone, we would encourage you to really have a list for the days that you perhaps feel like you do not have much to be grateful for, or you cannot think or remember your gratitude. You can have a list which you read out and allow that list to support your positive and uplifting energy. It would be important to continue with this commitment on a daily basis, as doing it only on one day will not really have a great impact, although you will feel better in the moment. And it is important to remember that as you do start to receive the positive emotions, the more you can hold those positive emotions, the easier it is for you to bring forth into your life the experiences that you wish to have. So should you be wishing to call forth some healing or some travel or some different work situation or different financial situation, anything at all, family relationships, anything that you wish to uplift will be much more achievable as you are uplifting your vibration. At this time, we are open if there are any particular questions that anyone has. We are happy to answer them. And we would encourage you to remember that there is only the oneness, and that this vibration of this message is the same as all that you are also connected to. And so this frequency comes from inside a oneness and a unity that is within this field of this gathering today. And so there is not another, there is simply the oneness. And remembering as you raise your vibration to rest in the remembering and acknowledgement of the oneness and the unity of all beings assists you to let go of any negative thinking about any people or places or events, because truly the judgment of these things does not bring forth a positive outcome for you or for the others who may be in those negative experiences. For the way to uplift humanity and the way to bring forth a new reality for humans on earth is for each person to do their best to raise their frequency to the highest possible place. And it sometimes sounds almost too simple to be true, that if you start to resonate at a frequency of joy, as more and more people do this, and as you bump into others and spread your frequency of joy, then there will be a contagion, not like the contagion that happened some years ago, which was a physical event, but a contagion of joy and a contagion of happiness. And truly, this is what will bring forth the upliftment and the evolution of humanity. There are many groups and people, places and times who are all doing their best to raise their frequency. And as groups gather, it magnifies and amplifies the positive vibrations. And so this is something that can happen not only in this place, but for each of you with other groups that you may gather in, that as you intend and you practice the gratitude and the frequency raising practices, you can impact the physical space around you and the people around you. in a situation where the lesson is unclear, the response remains to raise the frequency as often as possible. And while the lesson may not be clear, practicing as best as is possible the acceptance of that lesson or event. And in a meditation, one practice can be to ask to be shown the core cause or event that may have brought this trauma or other event into your life. It is in some cases connected to ancestral line, and you truly can call forth as you raise your frequency with gratitude and acceptance. You can bring forth the healing energies of Saint Germain and the violet flame and ask for this trauma to be dissolved and removed through the whole of the family or lifetimes where it has come. It is true there are guardians of each frequency, and as you raise your vibration, you can ask to be shown any lessons. And many and often the lessons are to do with opening the heart to deeper love, more gratitude, more forgiveness, as those who are light workers on this earth require a great event often to, we would almost say, break the heart and to shatter the previous conditioning and the delusions. And these may have been unconscious, but when the heart shatters and the egoic self shatters, then there is liberation to be recalibrated at the highest vibration. And if the lesson has not become clear, then the prayers can be for healing in any event without the lesson, if this is in fact able to take place, which often it can. Each one of you has your own team of higher guides and masters, ascended masters who are helping you, your highest soul, your highest self. And this will be the quiet voice that speaks to you in your quiet, peaceful times when you can ask your egoic self and that louder voice to gently step to one side and focus on the quiet whisper, the nudge that is given to you, the prompting that encourages you to take positive action. It is important to find the answers within. And although help and support is a positive thing, it is important not to outsource one's healing to others. And it is true through help and support and prayers and taking the opportunities that present themselves, then there are times and practices that can help to reconnect you to the source of these issues. At the same time, they can be resolved and dissolved. If there is any issue right now, imagine that all of that can be held inside a bubble in your hand. And imagine as if you are holding an ice block that the sun is gently melting it. And as you do this, it may be as you ask to be shown, how have I grown from this? Eventually, there will be one thing and then another and another. How am I a better person because of having had this event? How has it taught me? And although initially the reaction might be, well, no, it hasn't, with diligent inquiry, even you can journal from your higher self. Some people try writing with their non-dominant hand. However, we would say that your soul is only a breath away and your higher self, and they will communicate with you if you sit quietly in meditation and ask to write the message from your soul. Soul, what do you want to tell me today can be your prompt. And you can simply start to write, allowing the writing to flow without worrying about what you write. These are all practices to help you get in touch with your own inner guidance, which is where the gold and the real answers and your own truth lies. They all lie within. And clearing away that which is in the way is partly what will start to take place as you raise your frequency. The practices mentioned earlier of finding the joy, the happiness, perhaps finding laughter, perhaps finding the capacity to smile even when not feeling so great. All of these things will override the effects of the trauma, as there is a great belief, which is just a belief, that these things take time. However, even in your Christian Bible is written the stories of Jesus, who, as you know, held the consciousness of the Christ, helping others to facilitate their own miraculous healing. So while there is a belief that Jesus healed others, the truth is in fact that Jesus held through the highest frequency the vision of those around him in perfect health and harmony, and the strength and the power of that frequency and that vibration allowed those within it to come to know themselves as whole. And this is the truth of how healing happens. And so, of course, being with people and places that hold the highest frequency is beneficial, always. Being very discerning about those that you connect with and trusting your heart to give you the answers. And so as you choose to practice the higher frequencies and the practices of gratitude, changing the beliefs, and even you may choose to hold a vision some months down the track of things that you would like to see different, and telling yourself every day that this is your reality, that you are well, you are free of trauma, you are financially abundant, or whatever the desires are, and allowing them to flow to you as your frequency continues to uplift. And it will be important to let go of any ties or connections to anything that you feel is holding you back. So in this moment, we would invite you to breathe down through the earth to let go of anything below you that may block your connection with Mother Earth, allowing the healing frequencies to come through the body, down through the feet and into the earth. and feeling yourself being grateful for the connection to Mother Earth. Sending that connection down deep into the core of the golden earth, Mother Gaia. And allowing yourself to imagine how life is when the frequency raises and raises and raises. As you commit to these practices every day, not just for one day, every day, you may like to support each other and perhaps let each other know how you are going, as the group support is important and you can hold the high vision for each other, sharing your goals with each other and allowing and celebrating as even the small improvements take place. You will know that this one receiving this message spreads the practices of laughter. And what is perhaps not always obvious is that through the simple physical action of laughing and the way it impacts the physical body and the chemicals that are released in your brain, it places you into a higher frequency through that activity. And the more that you can rest in any high frequency with any gratitude, laughter, meditation practices, the longer you can remain there. That is the fertile ground for your hopes and dreams to be planted. It is like planting the seed in fertile ground and fertile soil. So finding ways to laugh and smile, as smiling also is a powerful practice if laughter is not possible for some reason, although we cannot ever believe why humans are unable to laugh, as it is an innate capacity. However, we understand this is sometimes the case. Then fall back to smiling as a backup plan. We will finish now, as we feel this has been covering a lot of ground and has given you, we hope, some homework and practices. So we will now say goodbye and we will return again. We are, as we said, only a breath away, and we send you much love as you have the capacity also to connect to all of the higher realms. And the more you raise your frequency, the more easily this takes place for all. Goodbye. Good. Very good. My feet were getting very hot. I'm not sure if that was just me. Everyone okay? How you doing there, Medini? All good? Yes. I think it might be nice to do what was suggested. I don't actually remember everything that was said, but I like that last part about maybe having a group where we might want to share our practices, because I was then we can kind of encourage each other. If anyone wants to, we can make a little WhatsApp group or something. I'm not sure what happened. We had someone else on I think we had Irina, but she must have fallen off or needed to leave. So that's all right. I can send the recording. Very good. All right, I might just pause this for now. Thank you everyone for being here and lots of love. And as always, reach out. As you know, I do offer individual channeling, healing, anything specific, and classes, retreats to India, spiritual mentoring programs, all sorts of things. So you know where I am, and if you need anything, you can let me know. And in the meanwhile, we'll be back here next Monday for our next session.